Mr. President, what's your message to Democrats who don't want you to run again?
They want me to run.
2/3 say they
Read
don't.
the polls. Read the polls, Jack. You guys are all the same. That poll showed that 92% of Democrats, if I ran, would vote for me.
A majority of Democrats say they don't want you to run again in 2024.
92% said if I did, they'd vote for me.
Sorry, Jack. We're reading the polls and your days are done. And the beauty of it is you're taking the Democratic Party down with you. We're going to take a look at the disastrous economic news coming out today. We're going to see how more pundits are predicting Trump isn't just going to run. He's going to actually trounce whoever the Democrat nominee is in 2024. And make sure to stick with the very end of this video when I'll reveal why even liberal strategists are predicting that the Democrats are facing an entire generation in the wilderness. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, I am your daily fake news antidote. So come on into your Patriot Professor's Den, where I help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. If you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe. But before we begin, gang, this is absolutely your last chance to get tickets to the big premiere of our brand new movie, The Return of the American Patriot, The Rise of Pennsylvania. It'll be premiering in Lancaster on Saturday, July 16th. As you know, a sad group of self-loathing woke activists have been trying to get the event canceled, but unfortunately for them, it's only resulted in a bigger and better venue. So it was all sold out, but now with this new bigger and better venue, we got a whole batch of more tickets available. Now, we sold out in mere hours last time, so don't wait. Click on that link below and get your tickets and hang out with me and with Senator Doug Mastriano as we stick it to cancel culture and celebrate together the triumph of faith, family, and freedom. We'll announce the venue just ahead of the premiere, so click on that link. Get your tickets, and I cannot wait to meet you Saturday night in Lancaster. It's going to be absolutely amazing. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. Biden's economy is officially an abject disaster. You may have heard the inflation numbers that have come out today. They are worse than predicted. Inflation has just hit 9.1% over the course of the last 12 months, a 40-year high, this according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It is the highest inflation we have seen since February of 1981. To make matters worse, the cost of energy rose over 40% over the same time period. Gas is up an astonishing 60%. Again, the largest 12-month increase since March of 1980. Well, I mean, we're obviously looking at the kind of stagflation that politically killed Carter in the 1980 election, and that looks like it's going to repeat itself first in the midterms and then in the 2024 presidential election, when we are sure to see the return of Trump. This is what Dick Morris is arguing in his latest book. He's already predicting not only that Trump's going to run in 2024, but that he's going to crush Biden. Trump is the only presidential candidate that can provably amass 74 million votes, the most of any incumbent president in history. And if what we've been seeing of late is really happening, Trump's going to get even more votes the third time around, because one of the recurring themes that we're seeing from Biden voters is a huge case of buyer's remorse. Remember, Rasmussen polling not too long ago found that were the presidential election held today, Trump would literally stomp Biden by 10 points, 51% to 41%. And the icing on the cake here is how Democrats would vote. According to the poll, 1 in 5 Democrats would switch and vote for Trump. Biden's actually hemorrhaging possibly 20% of his base in this poll in particular. Richard Barris over at the People's Pundit, he's been pointing out actually that when all is said and done, this is happening because Biden doesn't have a base. He's got a Democrat coalition, but he himself has no political base. I mean, outside of what Tucker Carlson calls angry and self-loathing middle-aged white single women who continue to give Biden a 60% approval rating, I mean, he literally has no coalition base. And so we can expect to see a massive voter defection away from Biden in 2024 based on these buyer's remorse numbers. Now, we have to understand here that the legacy media is starting to take notice. They do their best to hide it, right? No question. But periodically, there are these panic stories that come out. And however begrudgingly They're trying to inform Democrats that things really could not be more dire. Take a look at this from the Christian Science Monitor. Why Democrats may be facing a generation in the wilderness, and they are not kidding. The analysis that they're giving here is that the Dems actually face at least 20 years in the political minority. And they're not alone. Even the New York Times some months back ran a piece on a Democratic analyst, David Shore, who sees the next decade or so as radically gloomy for the Democrats. And there's a number of reasons for it, but by the way, keep in mind, both of these articles came long before we got these inflation numbers that came out today. It's going to make matters even worse. But according to these analyses, the fact that more and more of the Democratic constituency is amassing around cosmopolitan urban centers means that they're going to get more and more crushed in the Electoral College as the Republican vote disperses throughout the rest of the nation and dominates the vast majority of counties. Remember, this is what took out Hillary Clinton. She got crushed in the county by county vote. She did great in the coastal cosmopolitan centers like San Francisco and LA and New York and Philly and the like. But that was basically it. And the Electoral College came back and bit her big time. In fact, the consolidation of the Democratic vote is so pronounced that some analysts predict that the Democrats have to win over 52% of the popular vote to pull off an Electoral College win. Moreover, we're seeing an ever-increasing educational polarization taking place, where college grads who've gotten woke at the universities are solidly aligning with the Democrats, but the far more numerous non-college grad voter has aligned solidly behind the Republicans. And again, the political ramifications of this are stunning. I would take a look at this headline that came out the day after Glenn Youngkin crushed Terry McAuliffe in Virginia, right back in November of last year. And this headline comes ironically from the far leftists over at the Philadelphia Inquirer. So they know the data here, right? They know the stats. Quote, "These women are white with no college degrees, and they are in the driver's seat of American politics." They are in the driver's seat of American politics. It's a report on the exit polling from the Virginia election that found that an astonishing 75% of white women without college degrees voted for Glenn Youngkin. And not just Youngkin, of course, Winsome Sears for lieutenant governor and their Republican attorney general. 75% of white women without college degrees. And the article goes on to admit that that kind of voting block is impossible to overcome. That is an unassailable voting block. That voting block alone is enough to potentially overwhelm the cosmopolitan urban vote. And there's another element to this political dominance for the ultra MAGA movement, and it's one that guarantees that the Democrats will indeed spend the next generation in the wilderness. But before I forget, you got to get yourself one of these cool shirts, right? Like Joe blowing up the world. And you can do that by clicking on the link below and enjoying our Christmas and July sale at Turley Talks merch store. We've been winning so much of late. We wanted to celebrate those wins with you with a special 4th of July sale all throughout the month of July. So make sure to click on that link below. And for a limited time, if you buy 2 shirts, you're going to get one absolutely free. It's right. You could get one for yourself and 2 for the Patriots in your life. Get 2 for yourself, 1 for the Patriots. It doesn't matter. They're going to love you for it. Click on that link or go to store.turleytalks.com. All right. So what political realignment is really going to guarantee that the Democrats spend the next generation in the wilderness? Well, as you may have guessed, it's the mass defection that we're seeing among Latinos. Latinos are abandoning the Democrats in droves, which means that the Republicans are now winning elections in districts they haven't won in over a century, or ever for that matter. And left-wing rags like CNN are obviously panicking over this. I mean, look at this from CNN, the most distrusted name in fake news. These GOP Latina candidates are not the real deal. And of course, Mayra Flores features prominently there, right? Because just recently she wiped the map with her Democrat opponents in the second largest Latino district in the nation, winning in an absolute blowout as the first Republican elected there in over a century. According to this moron over at CNN, these women are not real representatives of Latinas precisely because they're not Democrats, okay? They're not cultural Marxist woke leftists. That's why. I love how Myra Flores responded to this nonsense. She tweeted out, as per CNN, I'm not the real deal. Maybe I'm not the right type of taco. Referring to Joe Biden's embarrassing, or what the ultra-left Washington Post is calling her, minor flap in comparing Latinos to breakfast tacos in her speech that no one would have otherwise given the time of day for that embarrassing nonsense. And by the way, Mercedes Schlapp over at Fox is arguing that wasn't a flap. That was intentional. This notion that Latinos are ultimately only good for their breakfast tacos, she and the Democrats are pissed that Latinos have begun to abandon the Democrats in droves, and they're voting more and more Republican. And this insensitive remark by Joe Biden is only going to drive more and more Latinos to do precisely that. So the Democrats think they're helping themselves with these hit pieces and with these lame, insulting attempts at comedy. They've got a whole nother thing coming. And now with the inflation numbers coming out, it seems that economic disaster is just pouring oil on a Democrat fire. The Democrat coalition is indeed unraveling, which means that we are in for an amazing 2022 and an even greater 2024. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on Sri Lanka's collapse and the end of globalization. If you want to know exactly what's happening in Sri Lanka, you are not going to want to miss this. So make sure to click on that link, and I will see you over there. God bless.